Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Brittany, and today we are talking about budgeting to move to New Zealand from Canada. So today we're going to be budgeting for what I'm actually going to be spending while I'm there, and I'm also going to be going through what I've already spent, including how much visas were and how much a few different things like flights and accommodations. So if you're excited for the video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more New Zealand content to come. So first up, the biggest expense of pretty much anyone's budget is going to be rent or accommodations. We currently spend about $800 each in a condo in downtown Calgary. I am the owner of the property, so we do not currently pay rent. So once we move to New Zealand, we're not going to be purchasing property, we're going to be renting. And we have a budget of 1,600 Canadian dollars per month. And we haven't really decided where we want to live yet, so we're open to the different possibilities. So when I've been researching accommodations and rental places, I've been using a website called Trade Me. And for our budget, I am looking for a 2-bedroom place. It looks like Auckland is really going to be the best place for us in terms of being able to walk to and from work and have that second bedroom so that people can come and visit, and that we can also use it as sort of a studio space for filming things like YouTube videos. Next up on the list is food. So I am budgeting $300 each per month, which works out to 350 New Zealand dollars each. This is in line with what we currently spend in Calgary. So we cook a lot of our meals. I think that we'll be able to get this a little bit lower than the budget if we really want to. Although I do enjoy making fresh meals with like higher quality ingredients. So if it goes a little bit above 350 each a month, I'll be okay with that. Although I know some things in New Zealand are a little bit more expensive, but I'm always about shopping those sales. Next up is transportation. I currently have a budget of 150 Canadian dollars each. That works out to about 175 New Zealand dollars each. So this is going to include any kind of Ubers or taxis or taking public transit like buses. We are planning on purchasing a vehicle, and I know that gas is extremely expensive in New Zealand. I think it's like over $2.50 a liter. So once we get a vehicle and figure out insurance and everything, I'm hoping that it is within that budget. That would give us like $350 total per month if we were to share a car. And I think that is quite above what it actually needs to be. Although I'm not really sure how often we're going to be driving around because we do really want to travel mainly. We are going to be working, but more to support the travel. The vehicle that we do buy, of course, is going to be used, and we're looking at around $5,000 for that vehicle. Next up on the list is entertainment. This is something that I wanted to put a little more money into budget-wise. So I have $300 Canadian each for this, which works out to 350 New Zealand dollars. So that's a pretty generous budget. Right now, my budget for entertainment in Calgary is about $100. So this is tripling that, and I think we'll be able to do quite a bit within that budget range. There are tons of free things to do in New Zealand, and if we have a car and we can go and drive to these places and go hiking, I think that will be a really easy way to do things for free. Next up on the list is phone and internet. So currently I pay about $80 a month for my phone and internet, and I'm going to be budgeting for the same amount in New Zealand. So that works out to $93 New Zealand dollars, and that'll get me a phone plan that has a bit of data as well as hopefully half decent internet. I have been looking at prices online, and it seems like I'm within that range. Keep in mind that $93, like I would be splitting the internet with my partner, and my phone would be my own. So most of that would be, or like half of that would be for my phone, and then the other half for half of the internet. Then I also have a miscellaneous fund. I have this right now at $100. That's what I have it in Canada. This usually covers things like pet food or random things that pop up, like just home things that you need every once in a while that you don't really necessarily need to like budget for. So that works out to 117 New Zealand dollars in the miscellaneous fund. So my total monthly estimate for us when we're in New Zealand is about $1,730 each Canadian. That works out to just about 2,000 New Zealand dollars each. Compared to our Calgary budget, my budget for the month is about 1,800 Canadian dollars where we live right now. So I think having a $2,000 a month New Zealand dollars budget is pretty generous. I mean, we can definitely change things up. If we want to, we can totally do like a 1-bedroom apartment and then furnish it ourselves, because right now we're looking at places that are furnished. And there are different areas in this budget that we can definitely come down on if we need to. We do both have a good amount of savings to kind of float us if we're not working enough to like support that $2,000 each a month. But that is the budget. So leave me a comment below if you guys either live in New Zealand or are also looking to move there. If you have any further ideas on what things might cost, if you think like $2,000 each a month is way too high or way too low. I know it's very dependent on where we're going to be living. Right now we're in between like Auckland and Christchurch. But things can definitely change. If we have a vehicle, it opens up a few possibilities on moving like outside of a city center. Now let's talk about what I've spent so far in planning to move to New Zealand. So first things first, let's talk about visas. The visa for a Canadian to go to New Zealand, working holiday visa for just 1 year, was about 300 New Zealand dollars, and that was 254 Canadian. I did look it up on their website while I was researching for this video, and it has gone up to 455 New Zealand dollars, which is about 388 Canadian. So a little bit of a jump if you're going to be applying now instead of we applied like 2 years ago. Because we applied 2 years ago, I had to update my passport. So did my partner. That cost us $160 Canadian each. And then because we updated our passport and we already had those visas, we had to get the visas updated, which cost a little bit more than we were hoping for. It was $155.72 to get certified copies of our passports, which we had to get at a lawyer's office and then mail them to the United States, to the Washington, New Zealand visa place. And then it cost about $66 for them to process that update. So in total, the visas cost us both $635 each. So that's a little bit more than what we were hoping for, but because we had to renew our passports, that was really the biggest cost. If you already have a passport that is going to be good for like a good amount of time while you're traveling, then great, you don't need to do that. But if you do need to update your passport, definitely do it before you apply for the visa so that you don't have to go through this process later on. Now let's talk about flights. So we got a direct flight out of Vancouver, British Columbia, directly to Auckland, and it was $1,518 per person. This is only a one-way flight, by the way. If you wanted to go back and forth, it wasn't much more. I think it was like $1,700 to do the return flight. So if you're wanting to come back for something specific, you can book the return flight for just a little bit more. And those plane tickets were just straight up regular economy. Now let's talk about accommodations, because this is the biggest expense so far that we have prepaid for. We have currently prepaid for 4 months of Airbnb accommodations. So it's going to be 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, like a month per accommodation. So in total for accommodations, we have spent $3,309 each. It works out to about $827 per month each, which is right around the $800 we spend right now per month. So I think that that's pretty good. And of course, all the Airbnbs are furnished, so we don't have to worry about buying any kind of furniture or anything like that for the first 4 months. So it will make things a little bit easier with just traveling around and seeing the sights. So the total that we have spent so far in planning our move to New Zealand is $5,462 each, and that is in Canadian dollars. You could definitely do this for a lot cheaper. It's because we booked like 4 months of accommodations at once. I'm sure that you could go there and spend like a couple nights or a week or something in Auckland and then find a place to rent long term, and you'd be able to get that amount a little bit lower, but it depends what you want to do. It depends if you have the cash to book so far in advance. It's kind of nice that Airbnb lets you do that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you a little bit of insight into moving to New Zealand and what the costs might be like if you're coming from North America. Leave me a comment down below if you're also thinking about moving to New Zealand and what your plans are, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.